Aries crew, come on in, come on in, come on in. Happy Wednesday. I hope you're having a beautiful week here. We are halfway through, almost to Friday, and I'm so excited about that. I am looking forward to the weekend. I don't know about you. Come on in, get your popcorn, get your drinks, sit down, get comfortable. We're about to get into some things. It's going to get a little bit messy over here because we get a little bit messy over here. We are going to talk about Ozzy Osbourne. The Prince of Darkness has passed away at the age of 76, so we got to see what was going on there. There's been a lot of outpouring of support and condolences to his family. Some more information on Malcolm-Jamal Warner. He played Theo Huxtable for the entire run of the Cosby Show. He passed away recently at the age of 54, so we have a little bit more information on that in his trip to Costa Rica and the beach that he was on when he lost his life, unfortunately. Talk about Cardi B. Cardi B has been sued, so we got to get into what's going on there. And we're also going to be talking about the Jacksonville viral traffic stop. Ben Crump, attorney Ben Crump, is out talking about that. That is now his client, the citizen that was a part of that viral traffic stop. But before we get into that, if you are not familiar with me, my name is Aries Rose, and welcome to Aries Rose TV and the Aries Rose Show. Here on this channel, we talk about streaming, movies, TV shows, world news, local news, politics, celebrity news, basically anything I find interesting, I come on and discuss with my Aries crew. We have a great show lined up for you tonight, so get ready so we can get into some things here so we can get caught up on what is going on. If you're on Instagram, follow us at Aries Rose TV and let us know that you are from YouTube, and we'll follow you back on the YouTube communities tab here. They've changed it up, so if you are a subscriber, you can leave discussion items, questions, let me know about trends, topics, things you want me to talk about on the show. I use the communities tab pretty regularly, so go ahead and check that out. Love to have a discussion with you there. I will definitely respond back to you. If you have a business or a product that you'd like to advertise on the channel, I will leave my business email in the description. Reach out. We'll see if it is a good fit. There will also be a GoFundMe link in the description box as well, and it's going to be for a memorial for the father of my two younger children that passed away in June. And any money left over from that will go towards the care of our kids, as well as towards the expenses that come along with someone passing away. Any donation amount is greatly appreciated, even if you can just share out the GoFundMe link. That means a lot as well. As you come in, if you can like the video, goes a long way, means a lot. The support is very helpful. And let me know if you're a part of the Aries crew by leaving hashtag Aries crew in the comments, or leaving first time watcher. If you are a first time watcher in the comments, want to give you a shout out for stopping by. And when you subscribe to the channel, make sure you leave that in the comments here. I want to personally welcome you to the Aries crew. And let's get into our first story for tonight. Welcome, Pillow Boy. Thank you for stopping by. And there's a leaderboard on here for comments, so run up those comments. The more you comment and interact on here, the higher up you go on the leaderboard, so keep those comments coming. Welcome, Fish Be Biting and RG3. Welcome. And let's get into our first story for today. So the viral traffic stop that happened out in Jacksonville, Florida, I believe. Ben Crump is now the attorney for the particular person that was involved in that viral traffic stop there. So we're going to get some information on what Ben Crump is talking about in relationship to his client. This reporting from TMZ. This is viral traffic stop. Ben Crump says client did nothing wrong. Video speaks for itself. Ben Crump is now representing William McNeil Jr., the Florida man seen in a viral video getting his car window smashed in and his head punched repeatedly by Jacksonville deputies during a traffic stop. And he tells us the newly released body cam footage strengthens McNeil's case. Civil rights attorney tells us the incident is a clear case of, quote, driving while black, end quote, arguing officers had prejudged McNeil before pulling him over. He even likens it to a modern-day Rosa Parks movement, saying McNeil was violently arrested for simply questioning the stop. The footage has sparked a national nationwide outrage and reignited a debate over racial profiling and police use of force. Crump says the deputy's actions reflect neither proper training nor department policy, and he's demanding their immediate termination. He also stresses the importance of McNeil recording the stop from his own perspective, claiming it's the only reason the truth came out. Critics have accused McNeil of being anti-police, but Crump says asking, quote, "Why are you stopping me?" end quote, is not an antagonistic, it's a constitutional right. McNeil was arrested and charged with possession of Mary Jane, possession of substance paraphernalia, and resisting without violence. His mug shot shows a busted lip, and body cam confirms cops ordered him to exit before smashing the window and dragging him out. McNeil's mother spoke out on Wednesday, thanking God for protecting her son and saying her faith saved her only child from what could have been a deadly encounter. And let's see, we got a comment here. RG3, cops didn't need to hit him, so he should play this case safely. So, from what I saw in the video, because I watched that particular incident there, from what I saw, I did not feel that anything that was done by that particular person, William McNeil, warranted the car window being smashed or being punched in the face. I can understand if it's frustrating if somebody is not complying, but I think there's a difference here in how that needs to be handled, and the way he was maybe not complying to me did not rise to the level that violence or any of that type of action needed to be taken, nor did his window need to be broken in, because they're probably going to say, well, you need to pay for that. And that stuff is not cheap. And that would not have happened had the officer not done that. So we'll definitely be keeping an eye out on this case to see how it goes. Whenever Ben Crump is involved, it's always going to be interesting. It seems like he is like a moth to a flame when it comes to these types of cases. So we'll see where this goes and what information the Jacksonville police are going to put out on their side to try to make themselves look better or downplay the situation that went on. That's my understanding. I believe the officers that were involved may be on administrative leave, but if you know otherwise, let me know in the comments. But again, we're going to follow up on this one as more information becomes available. It's just unfortunate when these situations happen, because I think there may be times and incidents where you might have to use a certain level of force, but it's really being able to identify those that is what an officer has to do, especially if you're escalating it. And if it just is somebody's not pulling out a pow pow on you, they don't have a particular weapon that they are attacking you, or you are in imminent danger. This man was sitting in his car, just sitting in his car. Unfortunate for him, he was recording that. It's unfortunate it went to the level that it did. It's sad it couldn't have just, been a ticket or whatever it was going to be had it not escalated. But that's what these cameras on the phones are good for, and we'll see how this goes. But let me know your thoughts in the comments on this particular one. Hate to see these situations come up, because I think it paints all officers with the same brush, and it's not all officers that operate this way. And it's not every single time that there's a stop. I'm sure people are stopped all the time, every single day, and it doesn't escalate to this level. So, keeping it in perspective, it probably doesn't happen as frequently as it feels, but it's unfortunate when it does happen, what takes place that makes it become viral. So, we'll see how this bad boy goes as it progresses. And let's get into our next story here about Cardi B. So, she is being sued. And this is an incident that we talked about here. We did a short on it on the channel. This happened back in 2023, and she is now being sued for it. So let's get into what's going on here. This reporting from TMZ. Cardi B sued for assault, battery by woman allegedly struck by microphone. Cardi B has been accused of assault and battery by an anonymous woman who says she allegedly threw a microphone at during a day party in Las Vegas a couple years ago. This Jane Doe is suing the rapper for a 2023 incident where Cardi was performing at Dre's Beach Club when she asked people in the crowd to throw water at her to beat the triple-digit heat. It does get hot out in Las Vegas. It's a desert, so when you're out there in the summer, it is hot. However, this individual says she threw water at Cardi, as several people in the audience did. The rapper responded by pelting her with the mic instead. Attorney Sierra N. Norris, who is representing Jane Doe, is holding a press conference on Thursday in Vegas, and we will keep you posted on that as well. We actually showed video at the time showing Cardi seemingly responding positively to some people who threw water at her before another video captured her throwing the mic into the crowd. Cardi was investigated by police at the time, but ultimately was not charged in the incident. The microphone was sold for $99,000 shortly after the incident, which the Jane Doe claims exacerbated emotional distress. The owner of the wave told us at the time that the money was going to two charities, the Wounded Warrior Project and the local Vegas charity, Friendship Circle Las Vegas. Cardi is being sued for assault, battery, negligence, and more. We've reached out to Cardi's rep, who had no comment. So let me know your thoughts on that in the comments. Do you remember when that situation happened? I think at the time Cardi was saying somebody threw something other than water that was at threw water something other than water at her, and that's why she reacted that way, if I remember right from that time. It seems like everybody is suing right now. There's so many different lawsuits and stuff going on, and we got to talk about the lawsuit as well that Shannon Sharpe settled, because the accuser in that particular case made an announcement on their social media after what I believe is the check cleared. So we definitely got to get into that one. We'll probably talk about Shannon Sharpe tomorrow, but it seems like there's a lot of lawsuits going around. It looks like Cardi B is just next in line to have one. So we'll keep you up to date on what's going on with that lawsuit. If it ends up going any further than it is right now, going to trial or whatever may happen with there, you can get your updates on that here at Aries Rose TV. Let me know what you think about that in the comments here. Let's keep that conversation going. And now you have to get And now we have to get into Malcolm-Jamal Warner. So there's a little bit more information about the beach that he was on when he passed away. He played Theo Huxtable on The Cosby Show. He played that role for the entire time the show was on air. He's also a musician. He did music. He got a Grammy in 2015. He's done some other shows as well. I remember him from Malcolm and Eddie when he did the show with Eddie Griffin after The Cosby Show. He also did some other shows that he was on Resident, and he was also on, I want to say like the Reed Family, something like that. I did not watch that show that he did with Tracy Ellis Ross, the daughter of Diana Ross, but he was on that show as well. I guess they played a TV wife and husband on there. So he's definitely done some things since the Cosby Show here. And he was a pretty low key person. You never really heard too much stuff going on with him. So it was really sad to hear about his passing from an accidental drowning. He allegedly was caught in a rip current, the rip tide, and that's what ended up being the situation that took his life. And he was out on vacation in Costa Rica with his family. And allegedly, his daughter was also in the water with him at the time, and she was able to be saved. And unfortunately, when he was pulled out of the water, he was no longer living. Very, very, very sad situation. Such a nice, respectful young man. I think he always carried himself with such class and dignity. Definitely want to give a hat off to his mom and dad for raising such a great young man. He always carried himself well, always represented Black excellence and just showing a different side of Black men. And his role as Theo Huxtable was definitely life changing for many people. He was an inspiration and a motivation. So to lose that light, it's definitely being felt, not only by his family and friends, but people who knew him through the TV. We may not have known him personally, but a lot of us, especially people of color, grew up with the Huxtables and watched the show when it was on, and he was like our brother, and you watched him grow up. So you do feel an affinity for anybody that you met when they were young and you watched them grow up right in front of you. So may he rest in peace. Condolences out to his wife, his daughter. His daughter is young. I definitely understand that feeling that his wife's going through, losing the father of your child, and your child is young. That's what happened to my kids in June this year. I have two young children and they lost their father. And it's just a very sad feeling of knowing that they're not going to get to have that person in their life and that person's not going to get to see them grow up or be a part of that experience to be able to pour into them. So I definitely understand the times that they're going through right now and how you're feeling and that mental anguish. So my heart definitely aches for them in the same way it aches for myself and my kids. And let's get into some reporting here from TMZ. And it looks like this is an update here. Malcolm-Jamal Warner body flown to Los Angeles, remains released to family because he had previously been in Costa Rica since he had passed away. And it looks like they were able to now get him back to the States. So let's see what this update is. Malcolm-Jamal Warner's body will soon return to Los Angeles after his body was released to his family following the completion of an autopsy, TMZ has learned. Sources with direct knowledge tell us the actor's remains were turned over by the judicial morgue on Wednesday morning following the completion of his autopsy. We're told Warner's body is scheduled to leave Costa Rica on Thursday and will arrive in Los Angeles on Friday morning. We're told the U.S. Embassy is working with the family on returning the body to the United States. A source with direct knowledge tells us the actor had been in Costa Rica with his daughter for a homeschooling program. We're told his wife had been in the country with them a few weeks prior to his death, but she was not in Costa Rica at the time of his drowning. So sad. According to our sources, Malcolm's wife learned of his passing through a phone call. Know that feeling. TMZ broke the story. Warner passed at 54 from an accidental drowning while visiting Costa Rica with his daughter. There were no lifeguards on duty at the beach where Warner drowned. He was pulled from the water without vital signs and could not be resuscitated. The Costa Rican Red Cross tells us the 29-year-old Nicaraguan man who was deported or who was transported in relation to the drowning incident involving Malcolm was treated and discharged without complications. We've reached out to Warner's rep for comment. So far, no word back. Definitely condolences. Heart breaks. His wife wasn't even there. And I do know it's a little bit complicated when you pass away in a different country than where you are from with trying to get the body back. So this is pretty fast from how long that normally takes. I think some notoriety in your name probably helps move that process along. So I'm glad they were able to get that cleared so he can be brought back home. And then some information about the beach that he passed away on in Costa Rica. This from TMZ. Malcolm-Jamal Warner beach where he died has clear danger signs. So this one, the Costa Rican beach where Malcolm-Jamal Warner tragically drowned was clearly marked with bold warning signs about rip currents and high drowning risks, TMZ has learned. We've obtained photos showing multiple signs posted on the beach's main entry point, including warnings of a high risk for drowning and notices that rip currents here all year. One sign even advises that only advanced surfers should enter the water, underscoring how treacherous the conditions can be. We reported the 54-year-old was pulled from the ocean with no vital signs after getting caught in rough waters on Sunday while visiting Costa Rica with his daughter, and there were no lifeguards on duty at the time. Very sad. I don't really go swimming out in the ocean. I can swim, but I just stay away from there, or I stay more towards the shore because I don't want to get dragged out too far into the water. And that's part of the reason why when you get into those high currents, I don't care how good of a swimmer you are, when Mother Nature takes over, it can be something you may not be able to go against, and that may have been what occurred here. And again, it doesn't matter how good of a swimmer you are. If you get caught up in one of those, there's probably not a whole lot you can do. And it's just such a sad, 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 sad situation, a sad end to a remarkable life, to somebody who's definitely left a long legacy that will be remembered. Malcolm-Jamal Warner will never be forgotten. He is definitely cemented in American history, American TV history, and in Black culture for sure. He's always been spoken about highly, and that's not going to change. It was really sad to me because it was like losing a cousin or a brother because I grew up watching the Cosby Show, and just to hear it was so shocking. I had to read it a couple times when I saw his name come across my notifications. It never dawned on me he might pass away. I thought, oh, what new project is he doing? What's he talking about? It wasn't in my mind. It was going to be a notification that he passed. So reading that was like, wait, what? And he was only 54. And I just really have to stress in that you don't know how much time you have here. Nothing is promised, nothing is guaranteed. It doesn't matter how good you eat, how good of a person you are, how much you exercise. You just don't know when it is your time. So try to live your life to the fullest. Spend it with people you love, people who love you. If you don't have those, go out and find them or create those positive relationships and do things that you want to do because you may not have 5, 10 years from now, but you have right now, and try to make the most of it and do as much as you can because we only get one go around that we're aware of, and try and make the most of it as best you can do. And we're going to get into one more story on Malcolm-Jamal Warner here. And this is Stevie Wonder shared his thoughts on his passing here. And Stevie Wonder is a music legend. He has to have been in the game for 50 plus years. He is an extremely talented writer, singer, producer, all of that good stuff. That's reporting from TMZ. Stevie Wonder, my heart is hurting over Malcolm-Jamal Warner's death. Stevie Wonder is feeling the weight of losing Malcolm-Jamal Warner, telling TMZ while he's kept relatively quiet about the tragedy so far, it doesn't mean his heart isn't hurting. We caught up with the icon leaving lunch in Brentwood on Wednesday, where he shared that he didn't just remember Warner from The Cosby Show, but as a fellow musician. He shared a Grammy with after teaming up on Jesus Children of America to raise money for Sandy Hook victims. Stevie spoke about how important Warner's truth telling spirit was, especially in a world that often gets lost in lies, adding he hoped his legacy inspires a new generation of voices to keep pushing things forward. That will catch the full clip because he also reminisced about their time on The Cosby Show, saying the magic they created together in just one day will always stay with him. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. What was your favorite Malcolm-Jamal Warner show, character, guest appearance, any of that? If you listen to his music, let me know what your favorite song was or your favorite memory or how Malcolm-Jamal Warner impacted your life. Whether you watched the Huxtables growing up, whether you want to be like him or he made you want to go to school, go to college, anything like that, leave that here in the comments. We want to remember him for everything that he tried to exude and encourage. So let me know how he may have impacted your life or what your favorite memory is of Malcolm-Jamal Warner here. And now we're going to get into the passing of the Prince of Darkness, Ozzy Osbourne. Another one where I was quite surprised to see that come across my notifications that he passed away. And he was a He was quite a character. I absolutely loved the Osbournes on MTV, their reality show. I watched that hook, line, and sinker. They had me from the first time I saw that episode. Their kids were cussing all over the place. It was wild. It was fun. There was yelling. It was crazy. And it was such a good time. They were just a different family, and they let it all hang out. They didn't care. They weren't going to be judged. They weren't trying to fit into any mold. They were just being themselves. And that show was one of the very first family reality TV shows, and it was highly successful because they were just a very entertaining family. It's where I first even heard of his kids, Kelly and Jack in particular. And there's another daughter, Amy, but she wasn't really on the show like that. But Jack and Kelly were on the show, and Sharon Osbourne was on the show. And, Sharon Osbourne has done stuff outside of that. I believe she was the manager for Ozzy Osbourne as well for his music. They were such a cute couple together. I love their dynamic. I just love them as a family. So it's very sad to hear. I didn't really know too much of Ozzy's music. That's not really my musical style. But I know he was successful in music with Black Sabbath, and he was from England, and he had started that band, and then he kind of went out on his own. I know he had some struggles with substances, and his wife Sharon stood by him, and she helped him get on a better path. And I know towards the end there, I believe he had Parkinson's. I know he had some health stuff going on, but he made it to 76, and he lived a very full life, and he was into a lot of stuff. So that is a great age for him to reach, considering all the things he was into. And I'm glad he got to have a good chunk of time with his family, and that they got to spend that time together on the reality show. And it seemed like they were just always supporting each other, always there for each other. And I loved his dynamic with Sharon. I loved the way he was with his kids. So my heart goes out to all of them and any other family and friends that may be impacted by his passing. So let's get into that. This reporting from TMZ. Legendary rock singer Ozzy Osbourne has died, TMZ has learned. In a statement to TMZ, the Osbourne family says Ozzy died Tuesday, quote, surrounded by love, end quote. The cause of death is unclear. The Osbournes say, quote, it is with more sadness than mere words can convey that we have to report that our beloved Ozzy Osbourne has passed away this morning, end quote. Ozzy's family continues, quote, he was with his family and surrounded by love. We ask everyone to respect our family privacy at this time, end quote. The statement was signed by Sharon, Jack, Kelly, Amy, and Lewis. Very, very sad news. I don't care how old you are. I believe all his children are adults. I believe he also has grandkids. I know Jack has a child. I'm not sure if Amy or Kelly have any kids, but I know Jack does have a child. But regardless, for his kids, my heart aches for losing your parents. 'Cause I don't care how old you are, you always want your parents around and in your life. My heart definitely goes out to Sharon because they have been together, married since I want to say 1982. So they've been together for 40 plus years. So to lose a partner who you spent that much time with and you created a family with, I'm sure that's a void that just can never be filled by anybody else. And my heart aches for her because I know what that feeling is like to lose somebody that you can't see anymore, that you really wish you could have around. And let's see, it looks like Ozzy had just did a concert, I want to say like a week or so ago, they said. And let's see. Oh, weeks before his passing. So this is reporting from TMZ. Ozzy Osbourne emotional final concert weeks before his death. Ozzy Osbourne showed a ton of emotion in his final concert with Black Sabbath, opening up on stage about how hard the past few years had been on him. Check out this clip from the rock icon's July 5th show with his band at Villa Park in Birmingham, England. Ozzy is explaining how hard his life has been since his diagnosis of a rare genetic condition, Parkinsonism, similar to Parkinson's disease. Ozzy came out on stage in his signature all black look and sang heavy metal from a bat throne. He told the hometown crowd it took a lot of people's hard work to make the concert happen, shouting out his wife Sharon and Tom Morello. Oh, so sweet. Between songs, Ozzy thanked his legions of fans from the bottom of his heart. Glad he got to perform before he passed away. I mean, he's been in music for a very, very long, long, long time. So I'm glad he got to do something like that before he passed away. And he will definitely not be forgotten. He was quite a character. And I love when people break the mold and they live in who they are and they're not trying to fit into anybody's perception or what anybody wants them to be. And they are who they are. Because I think those people who are living the most authentic, that's what people are drawn to, when you are not caged in by expectations or what other people want you to be. And he definitely exuded that. And let's see. So let's talk a little bit about Ozzy Osbourne's biggest moments on stage, from shock to charity. And this is reporting from TMZ. Ozzy Osbourne rose to fame as the lead singer of the heavy metal band Black Sabbath, which he co-founded in 1968 and fronted for much of its existence. And part of why the band's legacy, as well as his own was cemented over time, was for Ozzy's outrageous live performances. many of which featured onstage antics that have become legendary in rock history. Let me know if you've ever seen Ozzy Osbourne perform live. I've heard he has some interesting stuff that he does on stage. We're taking a look back at some of Ozzy's biggest moments on stage from his career and see how his farewell tour left his fans with more than just a shock. So Ozzy bit the head off a bat. Ozzy put himself through plenty of physical trials over the length of his career as a singer, although not many would have guessed he would have to receive rabies shots for one of his on-stage antics. The singer was performing in Des Moines, Iowa, on his Diary of a Madman tour in January 1982 when a teenage fan threw what the performer thought was a rubber bat on stage. Ozzy immediately picked up the bat and bit into the neck before ripping its head off with his teeth, giving the crowd of 5,000 concertgoers a sight they'll never forget. The songwriter later wrote about the incident in his 2009 memoir, I Am Ozzy, and recalled the bat having, quote, the worst aftertaste, end quote, which he had to undergo frequent and painful injections for rabies, according to Loudwire. He would throw raw meat at his audiences. Ozzy wasn't limited to performing his own stunts on stage. Many of his shows included audience participation in the sense that he would pelt his fans with raw meat. I don't get that one. He fondly recalled his meat throwing days in a 2011 interview for the release of a box set and spoke about an instance where the slingshot he used to attack his audience malfunctioned and slapped this meat on the back of my head instead. Many of the incidents took place on the Diary of a Madman tour, where the Prince of Darkness would toss various cuts into the audience purely for shock value. As it turned out, tossing out cuts of meat ran in the family, as his wife Sharon famously tossed a baked ham over her family's fence to mess with their neighbors in the first season of The Osbournes, which aired in 2002. And I do remember that episode, and that was really funny. And next, he helped raise around 190 million for a charity at his final show. While Ozzy's shows during his heyday became infamous for his provocative antics, his final concert went down in history as one of the most generous performances of all time. The singer's last show, which he performed with all three of his original bandmates from Black Sabbath, was billed as the, quote, back to the beginning, end quote, raised around 190 million or 140 million British pounds for charity, according to Billboard. The concert, which also featured performances from acts like Slayer, Metallica, and Tool, was put on to benefit three separate charities. It was attended by reportedly 42,000 fans, according to the New York Post, and was streamed by millions as well. Ozzy thanked his fans profusely for their support throughout his performance. And he had plenty of reason to celebrate after the show was over. His daughter Kelly got engaged backstage once the concert ended. So I'm glad he got to see that. I think Kelly is the baby of the family. May he rest in peace. Condolences definitely go out to his family. Let me know your favorite Ozzy Osbourne song or Black Sabbath song in the comments, or if you ever attended an Ozzy Osbourne concert, it was something happened there that was crazy. Let me know here in the comments. Let's keep the conversation going. If you're on Instagram, follow us at Aries Rose TV. Let us know you're from YouTube, and we will follow you back. If you've been on the live this long, go ahead and join the Aries crew. We'd love to have you here. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe. Just hit that subscription button, hit that notification bell so you can find out every time we go live, post videos, post on the community page, and all of that good stuff. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow, or actually we'll be back on Friday. So we won't be on Thursday, but we'll be back on Friday. Have a wonderful rest of your day, night, or afternoon at whatever time you are watching.